This is Brian Green, and I am Liberty's Champion, with an update on my case in Pierce County. Let's start at the beginning. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a Navy veteran, a happily married father and grandfather, and I ran for sheriff of Lewis County last year. I ran as an independent on a constitutional platform, and I received nearly 25% of the vote, so thank you, Lewis County. I am also a musician who frequently volunteers my time and talents to my community, and oddly enough, I have even volunteered my time in Pierce County at events such as the Bite of Tacoma. I rarely have occasion to go to Pierce County, but when a close friend asked me to come and be a witness as the state, in conjunction with the bar club members and the courts, broke up and, in my opinion, literally stole his family trust, I, of course, was more than happy to support my friend in court. When I refer to the bar club members, I'm referring to lawyers. Lawyers belong to the Bar Association, which is basically their workers' union. Why is this a problem? It is a problem because this union basically controls every aspect of your life. From the local prosecutors, to judges, to our governor, and even the President of the United States are part of this private club. Citizens need to realize just how much power this private corporation, known as the bar, has over their lives, and how this creates a significant, huge conflict of interest, in many cases violating the separation of powers. Okay. Back to my story. I was there to witness this sad travesty against my friend in court, and I was recording the proceedings. There is no law, and under our Constitution, there can be no law, that can restrict your individual right to record in open court. During this particular court hearing, I recorded a lawyer from the state apparently offering my friend a deal he couldn't refuse. The deal? Sign over the trust, or basically have it taken through court proceedings. All of this based on unfounded and unproven allegations by bar club members going against a person who was never even charged with any crime. During this hearing, I also filmed deputies harassing the public for exercising their right to film open public activity, and a Superior Court judge, Judge Ron Culpepper, giving legal advice and refusing to identify himself. I had also been supplied with video of deputies harassing my friend and his representative a couple of weeks prior to this hearing. These videos show the same deputies harassing these people to the point of physical violence. All the videos are posted at my YouTube, so you can see all of that for yourself right here. As it seems there is no system of checks and balances for this out-of-control bar association or anyone in the judicial system, I thought this should be brought to light, so I published 2 videos of the experiences of my friends and I on my YouTube channel. Not long after this, my friend was informed that he and his friends were considered famous to the G4 security personnel. Being now known as the cameraman, G4S is the security corporation which runs the checkpoint. You must go through to enter the Pierce County Courthouse. It is run much like airport security, complete with pat-downs, searches, and some nice irradiation from x-ray machines. And I thought justice was to be administered openly here in Washington. A couple of weeks later, on November 26, 2014, I went to the courthouse to contest a parking ticket that I received during my friend's last hearing, as well as to file an affidavit on his behalf as he continued to struggle to not lose his home, parents, and his family trust. As can be seen in the video here, I am assaulted and arrested and taken to jail for asking the deputy to provide the law which he was attempting to enforce. I find it significant that I was not arrested until after I demanded the deputy properly identify himself. I have since found the deputy has no bond and has an improper, invalid oath. This is one of the deputies that had been prominently displayed on YouTube in his thuggish, unlawful harassment of my friend and his supporters. Looks like Pierce County and its hired gun thugs were looking to get some payback. I immediately ran a public records request to the Pierce County Sheriff's Office upon my release to obtain all video from the incident, logbooks, Deputy Robinson's disciplinary record, 365 pages, just in case you're wondering, and all these other information that I needed. Of course, my request was bungled from the get-go. Over the next few months, I received only some of the information I requested, always leaving out the most vital information. I have now filed suit in Thurston County Superior Court against Pierce County for violations of the Public Records Act. Of the many things I've uncovered in my investigation of Pierce County, I found out that Deputy Robinson and the Pierce County Prosecutor's Office are being sued by a gentleman in federal court. Robinson did the exact same thing to him as he had done to me. He pushed him down and then arrested him for obstruction, also known as contempt of cop. This man is also disabled, and in the video you can see Robinson snatch his cane away from him as he pushes the man down. Is this the kind of deputy that Pierce County takes pride in? I would say yes, because they sure seem hell-bent on defending and protecting him, while they should be protecting the citizens from people like him. Since this incident, I have been persecuted by Deputy Robinson's co-workers in the prosecutor's office and in the district court. I have caught judges practicing law from the bench, proceeding without jurisdiction, confirming and then allowing blatant conflicts of interest, and assisting the prosecution by not requiring the prosecution to provide an injured party. The judge, of course, has also been aiding the prosecution and has no problem prosecuting from the bench. The prosecution is required to answer my motions and affidavits in writing. Then the judge is supposed to rule on our arguments. So I went to the court clerk's office before my latest hearing to confirm that there are no responses from the prosecution entered into the court record. The only things that were entered were my motions, and affidavits, and the judge's rulings. No answers from the prosecution. Several people have also witnessed how they stacked the courtroom with deputies in an obvious attempt at intimidation, and how the judge, in conjunction with the prosecution, are attempting to hide their crimes by ordering that there be no filming in a supposedly open public courtroom. These are all violations of my individual rights and my right to due process of law. A judge is supposed to presume innocence on every element of the alleged crime. There is no violation without an injured party. Jurisdiction is an element to the crime that the judge is not to presume until the prosecution comes up with facts and evidence supporting a case. In my case, there are clearly no facts and absolutely no evidence to support any case. Just the opposite. Yet this judge proceeds past my objections. Imagine that. Judge Buttdorf has even gone so far as to order me to have no hostile contact with police, as if I am already guilty. The prosecution has refused to provide an injured party as required by law, despite the judge ordering them to do so at one point. When I pointed this out to Judge Buttdorf at my last hearing, she completely ignored it and notified me she had already granted herself jurisdiction, and then ruled that I will not be able to face my accuser. Maybe the problem is that Judge Buttdorf is ruling on a case where the charge was brought by one of the guards she counts on to protect her own courtroom. Can you think of a bigger conflict of interest than that? I have complained to the Commission on Judicial Review, although it is a private corporation and has never protected anyone's individual rights as that I have been able to find. But what the heck, I have complained to everyone else, even the FBI. Lately, the Pierce County prosecutor has come under fire for his conduct and the conduct of his office. The Pierce County prosecutor recently had a well-respected attorney from his office file a whistleblower charge for corruption and misconduct, and the Pierce County prosecutor made the news once again in recent days for their prosecutorial misconduct and the record-setting amounts of overturned criminal cases because of their misconduct. I also uncovered an attempt to have Lindquist recalled for corruption and misconduct. Not a very good track record, if you ask me. If you are looking for the reason for situations like Ferguson, Baltimore, and even lately Olympia, Washington, perhaps you should look at what is going on in these courts. Why are so many corrupt police injuring, murdering, and denying the rights of citizens with impunity? Because they can. And because there are no consequences for them when they do harm or even kill someone for no good reason. There are still good cops out there, but from what I have seen, most don't have the courage to stand against evil in their own ranks. Corrupt police, from my experiences, are the strong-arm thugs for the judges and lawyers. They know full well that they will be protected by their friends in the courthouse, and that is dangerous. These horrible, violent incidents will continue because these courts want ultimate power and have a real need to keep us all under the slavery of their illegitimate, constant jurisdictions. That is what keeps the money streaming in. It's all about the money. The Pierce County Prosecutor's Office leads the state in overturned cases because of their rampant disregard for procedure, due process, the law, and citizens' rights. But without the assistance of Carla Buttdorf and many judges like her, prosecutorial conduct would not be possible. I ultimately blame corrupt judges for our enslavement. I go back to court this August for this ridiculous contempt of cop charge. A misdemeanor charge against a man who has never harmed anyone or has any record except for a minor traffic infraction nearly 20 years ago, which I don't believe is even on the record anymore. In the meantime, I will continue my defense and continue to file complaints against these people. Something has to change. Not just for me, but for everyone who finds themselves ensnared by these crooks. Like my friend Tony, who has since lost his home, most of his belongings, his family trust, and ultimately his family. He is now homeless, and the state has everything that his family worked so hard so they could pass it on to him. My case against Pierce County for their violations of the Public Record Acts continues as well. Stay tuned and God bless. Thanks for watching.
You're all a bunch of slaves, letting everybody push you around, letting people tell you what you're gonna do. How long do you think it's gonna last? How long are you gonna let it go on? How long are you gonna let them push you around? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do?